Good morning, everyone. So today in this session, I'll be giving a brief introduction to the R software. So by now, I have understood that most of you are actually familiar with R, but you have some inhibition towards learning it because you are not familiar with some of the commands or the basic syntaxes or the basic formats that you should follow while you are doing an R program. So I believe by the end of this workshop, you will be clear with all those hurdles and you will be happy to proceed with further learning in R. So the goals of this session are to make you understand the basic concepts. So by basic concepts, I mean not the programming side, but the theory side, which you should be aware of before getting to learn R. That is how the software is working, how to install it, all those details. Then the next goal is to read in the R code and try out different steps by yourself. And this will lead to a foundation, a very strong foundation for you to learn more. Because in this workshop, we will be giving only the foundation or the basic things. You will have to improve it upon yourself. Most of you might be having some data for yourself to analyze. Some of you might not have any data. So I will help you to find out more about the R programming language, the data sets, everything, we will be clearing it. So in this workshop, you will be having lot of questions. You will be having lot of queries regarding R while we are doing the sessions. So I request the participants to post all your questions in the WhatsApp groups, okay, so that we can take it up later and answer the questions. In case of any technical queries, you can directly ask us through the chat window. Or if there are any other doubts which you might have in your mind, you can post it in the group so that everyone else will have an access to those questions and we will solve it. We will try our best to solve it. And I request everyone to interact with the resource person so that you will get an opportunity to learn more about the software as well as various other things. And I request the students to be kindly attentive in the sessions. And for the afternoon hands-on session, I will be sharing the R codes with you by afternoon. You can use the R codes, you can do the programming along with me. And if there is something in which you are not able to follow, you can directly post it in the chat window or the WhatsApp group. So what is R? So most of you might have heard about R. Most of you might have tried to install it. You might have tried to do some programs, and at some point, maybe you might have stopped using R because you are not able to proceed further. Some of you might not have any data with you. So leave all those things aside. We will be starting from the scratch only so that you will understand from where you can download the data, from where you can practice the practice using the software. So basically R, as you all know, it is a free software. So that is why everybody is trying to use R. You need not have to pay anything to get the R software. You need not have any license code or license keys for using it. You can easily download it within 5 to 10 minutes and you can start using it. So R is developed by Rose Ikaha and Robert Gentleman in the University of Auckland. Initially, R was started as a language called S, and we can say that S language has evolved into R. So what is R Studio? So when we are using a programming language, we sometimes, like those who are using Linux, we sometimes feel that the entire thing is totally black and white. So usually biologists do not prefer such a environment to work on. So RStudio is helping us with that. So RStudio or RStudio Public Benefit Corporation is a company that has developed the software called RStudio, which is an IDE for R. So in this environment, you can easily make your R codes and you can run all the codes easily by visualizing what is happening with your data and what is happening in the set of codes. Now, why we are going for R? As I've already told, it is a free software. Meanwhile, if you want to use a similar software called MATLAB, which is also used for statistical computations, you have to purchase the license. It is actually commercial. So it will be a little bit difficult for the students to handle it. And R is very powerful and fast. So that means the R can handle data sets of very large sizes, and you can utilize the computational power of R for very fast computations. So if you are, if some of you, at least some of you might be familiar with the, or they have used R for some small purposes. So they will understand that if we give a small command, even within a fraction of a second, we will get the result. So R can be used for very fast computations. And R is highly scalable. Like, we can use R in the form of a calculator even, or you can use it for doing complex operations like machine learning, deep learning, and other artificial intelligence kind of tools. So it can be it can be used for very basic purposes or for highly demanding purposes in computation. And it is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux also. It is highly flexible. Like, anybody can use it. Anybody can, with their code, can modify the code in R itself. You can create chunks of code. You can run it. You can skip it. You can do whatever you want with R. And another reason why R is gaining so much popularity today is because it has a very wide community support. So initially, when any programming language is developed, most people will not know from where you will get the answer to your questions, how you can use it, from where you will get the resources if you are stuck somewhere. But in the case of R, there is a large community of users that are using R. The most popular one is the RStats. RStats is a community, and you can easily access RStats through Twitter. You can see the different people who are working in R. You can download their tutorials. You can download their packages. Some of them may be trial packages. You can try them out. You can give a review. You can write comments. Whatever you want, you can just do on RStats. It's a very useful resource. And for anybody who is using R, I suggest that they should join the RStat community. And the next one is R Ladies. It is a group of ladies who are using R for computational purposes. So they have get-togethers, they have conferences. So R Ladies is also very popular, and there is an R Ladies group in India also. So anybody interested can also join that. Then the RStudio community is maintained by RStudio itself to ask common questions regarding the programming, any loops or any debugging sessions. And RBloggers is also similar. Then Stack Overflow is not specially maintained for R, but R queries are coming up in Stack Overflow also. You can utilize that. Then BioStars is a group that is specialized for bioinformatics. So you can ask the questions related to bioconductor packages or any genomic applications using R. So all these resources are available free of cost, and most of the tutorials and the websites are also free for you. So whenever you are stuck somewhere with your programming, you can just Google it up. You will find all the results there. You can use those. You can copy the codes. You can merge the codes. You can do whatever you want with R. So that is the flexibility of this software. So I'll brief about the common things you should know about R. So first of all, usually we have an inhibition to asking things, asking doubts, asking questions. So here, Googling or asking questions is pretty normal. Like, you are not a programmer if you're not Googling. So why Googling is normal? Because we might be having some questions when we are running the code. It might not be only us So many people around the world might be dealing with the same issues. And there might be so many experts out there who will be able to handle these issues very perfectly without ourselves giving too much strain into identifying the small things that are coming as errors in our programs. And also, I would like to tell you one of my experiences. R is updated almost every day. The packages are being updated. Sometimes some of the functions might be changed over a week's time, and you might not be knowing about it because almost everyone is developing packages which are released as small parts. They will be creating the packages, then later after 1 or 2 weeks they will be adding something, they'll be removing something. So only if you Google out things, we will find out what is there, what is not there, what are the added things in the packages. So Googling is pretty normal. And you can also find the experts in RStats community asking questions about small things in R, which might be very big to them, but for the other people, they'll be able to get the answers to that. So I request everyone to search for your queries. You try to find the answers yourself. So that is how learning happens in R. Now coming to errors. So I think all of you who are here might have used R at least for one time. So most of the times, anybody who is using R for the first time will have their first error in the first go itself. Even I had the same experience too. So first time when you get an error, don't stop with that. You have to go on. So in R, errors are quite normal. But the thing is, when you find out the reason for the error, that will be there in your mind forever, and you will not be making the same mistake again. So that's how learning takes place in R. And for errors also, if you are having some problem in your code, you can directly copy that line and you can post it as a question in BioStars or any of the communities. You will immediately get an answer. So they are very normal processes of our everyday life. So don't stop the learning because of the errors. It will be there. Now, there is always more to learn. R is constantly evolving. There are so many people who are trying to develop the packages for their own analysis or their own purposes. So it's a never ending process. What I have learned today is not what I'm going to learn tomorrow. The information is being flooded regarding this area. So it is always expected that you read more, you learn more about the tools. If there is a new package, if there is a new updated version of R itself, you try that, you be updated because in a week's time, things can change. So learning about R is not a single step process. It has to happen every day. You might have had the experience like you have started learning R, you practiced with it for 2 days, then you stopped for a week, and again you came back to R. You will not know anything about it. You will be having that initial problem in restarting R. So this is also very common. Similar is the case when you have been using R for some time and you have shifted to another programming language like Python, and again you came back to R. There also you will have problems. So it's a continuous process. Like if you want to learn R, you use it, you try to use it every day. You try to spend at least 15 minutes a day for doing something, at least loading a file into R, you just exit. That's enough. You be familiar with the R platform so that anytime if you want to use it, don't you won't feel that it is an alien tool and you are not able to use it, or if you are not familiar with it. So once you open at least that window, you will see what all are there in R. Just have a glimpse of that, then shut it down. At least do it for 1 or 2 weeks, then you will be familiar with everything. Now, it is expected that you will install and use additional packages. So, uh, R consists of so many packages. Like it is with the help of the packages that you will be working almost all the time. So packages are very powerful ways in which you can make yourself pretty comfortable with the data you're having with you. As Dr. Santosh has pointed out, everything is customized these days. So if you have some genomic data, you have special packages for that. You have ways to find out the differential expression of genes. You have different ways to find out, to create the plots. Everything is customized. You just have to find out how your data can fit into that package. If your data is correct, or if your data is in a correct format so that you can use it in your R tools or the R packages, you will get the exact same results. So the challenge lies here, how you will make your data exactly in the same way that that package is going to receive it. So you will be learning about all these things in the coming sessions. So there are multiple ways to do most of the things. So R is not static, as I've already told. There are different ways to do the same thing. You can add two numbers. You can assign the two numbers to variables and then add, or you can simply add. You can do whatever you want. So you need not, the code which you have with you need not have to be the right way or the wrong way. There are different ways to do it. So your aim should be to simplify the process, not to complicate the process. Like if you have a code in which you have copied from somewhere, there is one additional variable which you need not have to use in your work. You can just remove that from the code. You can use it directly. So there are so many ways to do the same thing itself. You will be, if you are practicing it regularly, you will be able to identify the unwanted chunks of code and you will be able to remove it. And you will always have so many data sets open in R all the time, because most of the time, as per my experience, each and every R package will have a tutorial associated with it. They have a set of data sets for the specific purpose. The first thing you will do is you will open up that tutorial and you will download the data set which they have provided. Mostly the data sets will be attached in the package itself. You need not download it also. You can use it directly from your system. So you can do that. You can practice it with that data. Then you can find out how your data can be fit in for that particular purpose. And then you can further continue with the data. Now I want everyone to Google this up, Comprehensive R Archive Network, or CRAN. You can just search for CRAN and then come back in 1 minute. And maybe somebody can tell me about what CRAN is. Dear participants, can anybody tell me about what is CRAN? You can just Google it up, copy it, and tell me.
Madam, maybe means we will have different packages in it, madam. We can use for our application. We want to do disease progress curve or anything, we have to search related one and we have to.
Yes. So CRAN is a place where we deposit the different packages. Many of the users of R will be creating their own packages, and they will need a platform to deposit or show the people that we have made such a package and you can use it. It's open for use. So CRAN is the place where you can find all the packages that are needed for your analysis. So new packages are deposited every day. In the screenshot, I have provided the list of packages that have been there until yesterday. So that means yesterday itself, so many packages were released. So you can see how much it is growing. It is really growing fast and the number of packages are being reviewed every year, and they are removing the packages that are not updated, not used, or some packages might have bad reviews, so they'll be removing that. So it is a perfect network where you can find all the packages, and that is hosted by different servers around the world. So we have a server in India that is maintained by NISA Bhubaneswar, and in this CRAN, you will be able to find out the details of the package, the instructions or the tutorials regarding the package, the data sets in which you can try it out. All these information are here in the CRAN network. So Bioconductor is another repository where you can find the tools for bioinformatics or the genomic data analysis. You cannot imagine the speed in which the bioconductor is growing, because so many packages are being deposited every day in bioconductor for different purposes we may not be imagining about. So that is how the growth of genomics is growing. And that is exactly how bioinformatics, the tools which are aiding genomics, are growing along with it. So you can also Google bioconductor and then see what all information you're getting. Because most of the tools which we will be using for specific purposes in genomic data analysis will be taken from bioconductor only. So you can just you can take a minute and just Google for bioconductor and see what all are there, how many packages are there, what all they are used for, and when it is released. All these information you can get from bioconductor page. As a R user, you should be familiar with CRAN and bioconductor packages, or at least a few packages. We cannot go into detail. We cannot look into all the packages all the time, but it is essential that at least you should be familiar with 10 packages. I'm not compelling you to do it during the workshop, but later on, by the end of this workshop, you will have a motivation to at least check out what the packages are, and you can try them out for yourself. Now, this is the, if you have installed R, this is the page that, this is the window that will be opening up when we are opening the R for the first time. If anybody has not got this window, we'll be showing you how you will get it in the next session, which is for showing you how to install R and RStudio. So this is the view of RStudio. So I will explain the static page later on. When we are going into the hands-on sessions, I will show you what all are there in each of the panes. But right now, the snapshot is enough to give you an outline of what is going on in R. So you have different menus that are specific for different purposes. And the first window, which I have marked as R script editor. So imagine I have given you a set of codes, a few lines of code, and I'm asking you to run it. So the first thing you will be doing is you will be copying that code and you will be pasting in the script editor. So this is for reviewing the code. You can see if there are any mistakes in the code, or if you can see if there are any, you need some modifications. If you don't want to run one particular line, you can do that. So all these editing processes can be done in the R script editor. So I recommend everyone to use the R script editor before directly pasting it into the console for doing your analysis. So what is the console? When you are using R alone, if you are not installing RStudio, you will be getting only the console part of R for working. So can you imagine this RStudio without the other workspaces, just the console? It will not be very colorful, or it will not be very much appealing for you to work with just a console. You will not be able to have any idea of what all packages are loaded, what all packages are there in your system, what script you have made, and what are the variables in the environment. You will not be having any information about it. So I recommend using RStudio. There are several other IDEs for working with R, but RStudio is the most popular one and the most flexible one for R data analysis. So here in the R script editor, on top of that, you will be finding so many menus, like the most important ones. I'll be describing about only the most common ones which we will be using. Later on, in higher stages, you will be, if you are going to become a developer or a package maker in the future, you might be using almost all of the menus that are given in the RStudio. But for the time being, as a beginner, I'll be just introducing you to only the basics. So here you will find a run button. So if you want to run one line of code, you can select that one line. You don't have to select it. You can place the cursor there and then click on run. If you want to run only a small part of that, you can select that and then run. Or if you want to do few lines of code, about 3 or 4 lines, you can select those and run. Or if you want to run the entire code, that is also possible. And in the R console, you will be getting the result of whatever you are running in the script editor. If you look at the R console here, I have given one statement, hi, hello world. So if you see this operator, the greater than sign and the hyphen, so that is the assignment operator here. So in the variable hi, I'm assigning the characters hello world. And then in the next step, I'm going to print hi. So the result will be hello world. So I'll be printing whatever that is taken by the variable hi. Now, if you look at the environment, you can see that value, hi, hello world. So whatever values you are assigning to any variable will be coming here in the environment, our environment. So that is the use of the environment pane. Here you have a history also. In the history, you will be finding the different codes that you have already written, which you have already run, and other related things like the connections, tutorials, etc. Mostly we'll be focusing on the environment pane only because that is the only thing which I have found useful for my work. Maybe you will be having different applications for that. So you can always explore the different menus. Now coming to the fourth one, that is the files, plots, packages, and help. This is actually very important. In the files, you can find the path of the files and you can directly copy the path from there and you can paste it in the script editor if you want to specify the name of the path of a file. Then you have plots. That's also very important since you will be working with a lot of data and you will be generating a lot of images or plots. So those will be coming here. Then the most important part of this these menus are the packages. So as I've already told, you will be using so many packages for your analysis. If you use one package, you will have to first, if you want one package, you will have to first install it. Then you have to load it. This is a major process in R because all the packages are not required to be loaded at the same time. Some packages have to be uninstalled after use. Some packages have to be, reloaded. So all these things can be done using this workspace. So when we are doing the hands-on sessions, we'll be moving forward with the how it works and how we will see what all data I have generated in this workspace. Now, functions, packages, and vignettes. So we all know that we have at least heard the term function. Function, you will be, when you have studied, if you have studied C++ or Java, function is a major part of the programming languages. But here in R, it is also a major part, and it is nothing but a block of code, which only runs when it is called for. If you are calling a function, like you have a number like x is equal to 4, you need to find out the square root of 4. So you will call a function. The function here in R is sqrt function. You can just simply type sqrt and x. You will get the values 2 and -2 as the answer. So function is used for any purposes. They are ready-made codes, which can be used for any of the purposes like uh, processing or any computational purposes. So many functions are there in R. We'll be going into detail. We'll not be going into detail with all the functions, but I will be teaching you how to do small functions, which will be useful for your work. Sometimes you might have a data in which all the values might be integer values, and you need to take the log of that. You cannot simply go back to Excel, change the values, and again come back to R. You can do it in R itself. That's where functions are applicable. So all these things which I'm telling you will be the basic things which you will be following, you will be requiring when you are running your own data. Because all the times we cannot simply go back, edit the file, then reload it, then do everything again. That is not possible in R. And next you have your helpers, the packages. So the packages are a set of compiled codes. They have sample data that you can use to analyze. And they are stored in a directory called the library. So if you are using one R package, R4 4.0.0, you will have a separate library for that R version. If you are going to R 4.0.1, you will have a separate library for that. So whatever packages you are installing will be stored in the latest R version you are having in your computer. Now, along with the packages, you will find the term vignettes. It is a long guideline to how to use the package with a set of instructions, set of codes, set of steps that you will be taking to run the package with your data. So vignette is a very important part of R. So if you are in the future, if you are doing some R packages, if you are making some R packages, make sure that you keep the vignette so that anybody using the package can be familiar with the functionalities and you can use all the data in it. Now, I will not be going into very detail about the functionalities in R because we will be using that. This tutorial is mainly for making you do it instead of telling about it. So some basic functionalities which you must know, I will be telling you right now, but you will be doing it again in the hands-on session. So first one is the assignment operator. So whenever you are using R, you will be using this. This greater than symbol and a hyphen is called the assignment operator. So here x gives 3. So that means the value of x is assigned as 3. Now you can use basic arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, logarithms, everything you can do with the help of, you can just do it, use it as a calculator as I've told before, or you can use functions for all these purposes. So almost all the functions are there in R. You can just Google it up and see, and you can use it for your own purposes. So there are several data types in R. So instead of explaining what these data types are, you can just be familiar with the names, and later when we are doing the hands-on session, you will be able to understand what each of the data types are, how they are structured, how they can be used. All these things you will be learning in the hands-on session. So the basic data types are vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, and data frames. So if you have used C or Java or any other programming languages, you might be knowing what it is. But in R, in the hands-on session, I'll be showing you what exactly it does, where it is useful, how it is useful, how it can be used for our data, how our data can be converted to a list or a matrix or an array, whatever data format we want. There are so many other data types also, but I'll be explaining only the most common ones here. Now, you must be seeing when, if you have used R for a little bit of time at least, you might be seeing that the package which you are interested in will be it is deposited in GitHub, and you have to extract it and download it. You have to pull it into your system. So Git is a version control system. That means in case if you are a developer, I have already told that they will be developing the package in a series of steps. They will not be developing it overnight. They will be adding chunks of code to that so that it is better in one version. It is even better in the next version with added features. So all these things, it is called, it can track the changes, just like you are editing a Word file. The codes, the code change, the changes in the codes can be tracked, and those can be shared with others who are working in the same field also. So they can suggest additions or any mistakes or any corrections or any bugs in that. So you can, if you are planning to develop, Git is always a good option and you have to learn it. You can see almost all the latest packages are first released in Git. They'll be asking for suggestions from different people who are working in that area. They'll be improving upon that same package. Then only they'll be releasing it in the bioconductor, or they'll be publishing a paper regarding that. So it's a very essential component of any bioinformatician. And when Git is combined with GitHub, it is very powerful. Like GitHub is the repository where you can deposit all the codes, the steps, including all the steps that are coming in the development of the package, so that others can have access to it and others can use the code. They can suggest improvements and they can send even the issues to you so that you can correct it utilizing that. So it is actually a give and take system in Git and GitHub. So these are some of the facts related to R. So the latest version of R is 4.1.1. They have a unique way of naming different versions. Like the current version is called Kick Things. So it has been released in October, and the next version is coming up in November. So this is how fast it is developing. So the next version is called Bird Hippie. You will find interesting names of the packages if you can search for that. And the latest version of Bioconductor is 3.1.3. So Bioconductor will be releasing new versions twice a year. So you can always check upon that. And as of today morning, we have 9,759 Bioconductor packages and 18,317 CRAN packages. So now you can see how much fast it is evolving, and the data that is generated, the need for analysis, the need for visualization, everything can be understood from this data. So these are some of the resources which you can make use of when you're working with R. You do not have to sit and read the entire book. You can just copy the codes. You can run it on your system. These are available as ebooks and also R markdowns. You can copy that and run it on your systems. Because most of the time there is no use in purchasing the books that are printed on a paper, because you will not be able to copy the codes. You will have to type it in, you will make mistakes, then you will be fed up with the codes and R programming. So you can just copy it from the available resources and you can paste it on your console and you can run it, or you can make it in the form of a bulk of code and then you can run it. So you can always take the help of RStudio community, BioStar, Stack Overflow, and all the resources that I have mentioned for you. Now, this is the most important point of what I was trying to tell you. So good programmers write good code and great programmers steal great code. So there is no problem in stealing a code that is publicly available. So I stress upon the word publicly available. And you can combine the different sets of great codes and build great packages and build your programming skills. So this session, you can learn everything and then you can practice it on your own and you can come up with several innovations in the future. So with this, I'll be ending this talk. The session is now open for discussion. Any doubts regarding the session? So one of our participants has said that she's not familiar with any of the coding methods. It is not an issue. This is a workshop for beginners. We'll be starting from the scratch only. I believe this will be very easy for you because it is not like C or C++ or any other languages that require so much input into the computation part. Like you have to put so much brain into that. The R is not such a package. You can always search for help. You can ask for help. There are so many people out there to help you. So it is not a program, not a difficult thing to do. And I think most of you have not any experience using programming, so that is why we have created this workshop for you. This workshop is for beginners only. You will be learning everything during the 3 days, so you don't have to get worried or tensed regarding the contents of the program. Any other doubts or questions? Or you can post the questions in the WhatsApp group itself. Okay, so since there are no questions regarding the session, we will move on to the next session, that is installing R and R Studio. I request Dr. Divya to inform the participants on how to install R and R Studio. She will be showing you how to install it. You can ask the queries related to that because in the afternoon for the hands-on session, we'll be mostly using R and R Studio, and it should be installed on your computer so that we can easily access it and use it. Over to Dr. Divya.
Thank you, Sona, for a nice introductory lecture on R. Now we are moving to the installation part. It's very simple. I'll share my screen just in case if you have not done. I hope all of you might have already installed it. Mm. Mm. Okay. Please go to Google and type CRAN. You will see like this. So this is the latest version of R. 4.1.1 for Windows. I hope all of you are having Windows system with you. Just download it, click on it, and order display. It's okay. maybe because it is shared, it's taking little time. Hope you're all doing it along with me.
You will be installing the latest version of R only. So you don't have to be worried about the different version. We'll be installing the latest version. 3.0.1 is not the latest version. We'll be right now showing you.
Type CRAN. And RStudio requires which is above 3. So the latest version is 4.1, 1.1. So you can download this one. It will be compatible. Click here, download R 4.4, 1.1 for Windows. Go to the place where you have downloaded the file and click on it. Go to the place where you have downloaded. This is the file which you have downloaded. Like any other softwares you will. click on this downloaded executable file, it will ask the language. It's like default. It will be selected by default by English. Give OK. Next, ask for the location. Again, it will not come by default. Click on next and again next. We are going to default options. Next, any shortcuts. Desktop shortcut. Hope all of you are able to do this step. Any doubt, any difficulty or doubt is there, please put the message in the chat box. Finish. Click on finish. The shortcut here. Studio. Studio. Download the RStudio. Go a little down in the page. You will see that RStudio desktop, RStudio server. Download the RStudio desktop. Install in the same way. Hope most of you are having Windows. Download the executable for Windows 10 or whatever OS you are having. Select the suitable one. Same way, just follow the instructions. Install Studio. Anyone is not, anyone has not installed or they don't have any system still still use some consoles when we do the practical session. Thing, tell you at that time, we'll send you the link for that. In case anybody has any difficulty installing R, share you the link for practicing it online. Finish. Can open your R Studio. Hope everybody has successfully done that. Be able to see this in your system. See this kind of console terminals and all. Respond. Could you install R Studio? DT?
Ma'am, I have installed RStudio, but when I opened this R 4.11 version, I could not see this script editor and all. Only console I could see.
Need to click on R Studio, not on R. So if you are not able to find the shortcut, you just search for the program in the console or at the bottom of the at the search window here. Then you will see R Studio. Just type R, it will come.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'll try now.
Studio, if we just put R Studio will come. Click on that. Okay, somebody could not see. He could not see the procedure. So what you need to do is first go to Google and type CRAN. CRAN, C-R-A-N. Then you will see this site, Comprehensive R Archive Network. This is to Miss Ananthi. Hope you are able to hear it. Click on R 4.1.1 for Windows. Just click on it. You will see, you will go to this, you will be directed to this page. Click on the download option R 4.1.1 for Windows. It will be downloading somewhere in the system, usually downloads, or if you have set up where to save, it will ask you where to save. Then after finishing the download, you just go to that folder, click on it. Yeah, otherwise, Sana has sent the link, direct link also for both these download pages. You can directly go to the link. It is there in the chat box. Once downloaded, once it is downloaded, the R 4.1.1, double click on it. I'm not going to click again, but you can just double click on it and select the language. When it comes, English will be there selected already. Just click on the select that English option and proceed with the next command. It will automatically direct you for installation, just like any other software that you install in Windows, and finally finish it. Again and again.
Have you checked, Ms. Preeti, have you checked whether you got that R Studio in your desktop as a shortcut?
No, ma'am, the shortcut is not appearing.
What about your start menu? Is it there?
Start. Start. It is there.
Yeah, if you find that in the start menu, please click on that and you try to open it, whether it is coming or not.
Art Studio. Coming Art Studio. But if we click on that, again it is installing. See. Yeah.
Share your desktop.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, wait, ma'am, please wait for some time. It is some other icon is showing. I clicked on that, and it is getting installed. Again and again, it is getting installed. See which one? 32 byte. No. Studio. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Ma'am,
all
it
the
is coming. Wait. It will
So
correct.
all the participants who have installed R and R Studio, please check and see. Please open the file and see whether all the windows that I have told are coming. So if there is some
Um,
problem, we will clear it now itself, or you can break for lunch and join back for the hands-on session at 2 o'clock. So the afternoon session will be held on Google Meet, and we will be sending you the link shortly. So those participants who have installed the RStudio and R completely and are confident with it, you can just leave the meeting and join back at 2 o'clock after lunch.
If you click on the R Studio, you should be able to see this too.
Ma'am, I got it. I got it. I got it now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You have all the four partition that Dr. Sona was explaining. You should be able to see this. We will use this in the afternoon session. For afternoon session, the Google Meet link will be there. Okay.
Somebody has mentioned my console window is blank. It should be blank because this is the first time you are using it. And right now, I think you don't have any codes for it. No problem. I'll be sharing the codes for the hands-on session. If all of you have got this much in your computer, then I think it is working fine for everyone. So if anybody has any other problem, anybody has not got this one, please inform us before the hands-on session, because at that time we'll be starting with the coding. We will not be able to explain all this again during the hands-on session. So I kindly request everyone to see this. I cannot see the script editor. There is below the file option, you can see there is a plus sign. In that, if you click on R script, you will be able to get the script window, script editor. Yes, for those of who cannot see the script editor, the way is you can just click on the plus sign just below file menu, then click on R script, then you will see the script editor. Yes, first one, first
The
pane.
first blank area is your script editor.
Right now, since you don't have any codes with you, you will not be having any codes there. You can paste it when when we are sending the codes to you.
Ma'am, that thing is okay, but when we are opening this R 4.4111 version, still I could not see that script editor. Still that
You will not,
console only is showing. Console.
you will not be able to see anything in R, because I
Uh-huh.
have already told you, like, RStudio is the IDE.
Okay.
So we'll not be using R. If you are using R, you will get only that console.
Okay.
We'll not be
Okay.
using R, we'll be using RStudio only.
Okay. Fine.
I think it is working fine with almost everyone, like except for you cannot see the script editor, it will be there, no issues. Any other problems?
That's all, ma'am. Thank you.